Hi everyone, thank you so much for joining me here today. I'm so grateful. In this video, I'm going to talk about the art of doing less and being more. Doing a lot less and becoming more. Doing a lot less and thinking better. So, what does this mean? When we talk about doing less, what at least I'm referring to, according to my manifestation process, is doing a lot less of overthinking, over analyzing, the unnecessary struggles in the 3D reality, unnecessary, unrequired, useless struggles that comes from the urges you have where things need to be done right now. I need to have this answer right now. I need to tell this right now. I need to fix this situation right now. That urgency that you feel in your body, if you feel that urgency often, then things really need to change. And this is mainly for people who are wanting to learn more of nervous system regulation, who are wanting to learn manifestation, intentional manifestation. For them, it's very important to slowly and steadily get rid of this kind of urgency that brings up chaotic reactions and behaviors and emotions, where they end up taking certain kind of actions in the 3D that just seems unnecessary actions. And instead of all of that struggle, how do you turn within and start doing more within? Doing things in the 3D is called action. Doing things internally is called being. Being more, doing less. Understanding more, doing less. Thinking better and physically doing unnecessary things lesser. This also includes for everyone who's really obsessed in their love life, because a lot of unnecessary actions come out a lot when it's related to a specific person and your love life. Unnecessary stalking, whether it's physical stalking or social media, unnecessary insecurities, fights, arguments, and not really standing firm in your power, not really standing firm with your boundaries, and letting the specific person just bend your boundaries, and then everything that comes after that, playing small, sacrificing, compromising, shrinking yourself, putting someone else on a pedestal, idolizing someone to an extent where they stop even being a human and you, I don't know, make them a god of some kind. So, manifestation, intentional, deliberate manifestation, is all about doing less in your 3D reality. Whatever needs to be done needs to be done. I'm talking about unnecessary actions. And as an adult, you should be able to figure out by now the difference between unnecessary actions that is causing anxiety and trauma in your mind and body versus things that we need to do in the 3D. Okay, these are the kind of small things that people will keep coming back and asking, how do we know the difference between what actually needs to be done and what is unnecessary? You should know that. Okay, there are certain things which I'm going to leave up to you. You cannot get into those kind of things, like those things cannot be explained. There could be a trillion examples about that. So you need to by now understand what is necessary and what is unnecessary. Okay, and once you start understanding yourself, you start practicing mindfulness, nervous system regulation. These are the tools that help you in understanding what's required in 3D and what's completely unnecessary and harming your peace. And it's just going to make you repeat your old behaviors, reactions, actions, and behaviors. What is making you repeat the cycle of that unpleasant side of you, that unpleasant version of you? What's making that version come out? Which kind of situation, what kind of people? All of this we cannot sit here and tell you. This is something you need to understand by studying yourself, by analyzing yourself. And in case you have trouble understanding and analyzing yourself to that extent, then definitely there are other sources available out there, such as therapists. Therapists do this. They make you understand yourself. They make you understand your patterns and behaviors and how you can break out of them. You need to sit back, relax, and be in your power at all times. And because we are not used to being in our power at all times, this is not something we are taught. This is not something we learn growing up. If you're lucky, you stumble upon these kind of topics and actually bring in the change within yourself. But once you start practicing it and you get used to it, you will not live any other way where you do not feel in power. And this power I'm talking about is not physical power or the authority that you can show outside to the physical world or people. I'm talking about the mental power here. Boundaries, standards, knowing what you want and don't want, knowing what's acceptable and not acceptable. And when you are clear about these major things in life, then manifestation by default becomes something that you do less about in the physical reality, and you fix things more internally. You know, thinking better is what's going to change my internal dialogue. You know that changing my internal dialogue is what's going to change my belief system. You know, if I repeat and persist these new internal dialogues enough, not just once or twice, till they actually start replacing my existing unfavorable dialogues, then my subconscious will be reprogrammed. And I know once that is reprogrammed, I'm going to start attracting different kind of people and circumstances in my life. So this change can be slow, this change can be fast. The change being slow or fast completely depends on how long it takes for you to change your state of being. Okay, so the journey from getting into the change, and here is your state of being. The journey over here is the only journey that has any relevance of speed, because once your state of being changes, the relevance of speed is not something you need to think about anymore, because from this point onwards, your manifestation can come any day, a week, a day, a month, it does not matter. After this point, no one can tell you when it's coming, because once you change your state of being, most of the time, 80% of the time, it's going to be super fast. You just have to keep reaffirming that state of being. And when I say once you change your state of being, it means once your mind is comfortable with the new state of being, it's not making you feel resistance or anxiety anymore. The conditioning has basically been changed. The conditioning has been replaced with the new conditioning, and the old patterns have been eliminated from your mind. So that is when you reach the point of having a changed state of being. Everything from this point onwards will be in your favor, including your thoughts, your emotions, your internal dialogue, feelings, which turns into actions and behaviors, which turns into circumstances. Okay? So you only need to take care of things up to the point of changing your state of being. I have so many videos on state of being. There's a whole playlist called Understanding States. If you have a lot of technical questions around state of being, how it's changed, how can we repeat and persist, do we have to stay in a state for the whole day, the whole time, isn't that exhausting? I have answered all those questions in that playlist. Thinking better, changing your internal dialogue, regulating your nervous system when the internal dialogue is not in your favor, not letting the outside circumstances impact you in a way where it's changing your internal dialogue. Things will happen outside, it's going to make you feel bad, upset, it can make you feel tense, nervous, anxious, it does not matter. What is the solution for those kind of emotions being thrown at us by those circumstances? The only solution is standing firm in your internal dialogue that favors your narrative, your story. If your internal dialogue also gives into those emotions, then we become a wreck. So, the only shield we have against the circumstances trying to make us feel less than, small, scared is our internal dialogue. And that's a very, very strong shield. If in those situations you can stand firm while acknowledging the 3D, yes, I'm scared, yes, I'm tensed, yes, I'm kind of imagining the worst case scenarios, but everything will be okay. I'll find a solution. Things will be okay. I'll find a solution. This will be solved. There's nothing that cannot be solved. I'll find a solution. Everything will be okay. Even if you have to repeat these internal dialogues out loud within you like a maniac, it does not matter. Because once you do that, you will learn the art of reaffirming your favorable narrative in the face of circumstances. You know how difficult that is? People who have mastered this, reaffirming their new story in the face of circumstances, are the ones that stop getting scared and intimidated by circumstances. And everyone wants to reach that place. Everyone talks about how to deal with circumstances, how to not be triggered with circumstances. It's by using your shield of your internal dialogue and in the moment regulating your nervous system. If you just remember these two steps, step back, breathe, pause, ground yourself, deep breaths, regulate your nervous system, favorable internal dialogues while acknowledging the 3D. We are not denying the 3D here. This is not happening. I refuse to accept this. Some people do it that way. Okay, there are, as I mentioned, manifestation is going to be, it's going to sound different for people with different personalities. I know a lot of people who do it this way where they say, I refuse to accept the circumstance, it's not that bad. Even though for some other person it could be so bad, it could make them tear up. So it also depends on the kind of person you are, the kind of confidence you have had up until this point in your life. Are you someone who's always been very cheerful, joyful, who doesn't take things seriously? Then you will not take a big thing seriously. Are you someone who's a bit timid and gets scared easily? Then the same circumstance will affect you differently. So find that inner voice. What does that inner voice sound like that soothes you? Okay, if you're not someone who can act savage in such situations, don't try to act that way. And if you're someone who cannot act timid and you are someone who does act savage and that makes you feel better, then do it that way. But don't pretend to be someone else to deal with things. Okay, that's the best way of learning manifestation. You need to be you. That comes down to your techniques, the way you want to manifest, the way you soothe yourself, everything. So, doing less in the 3D and doing a lot more internal work. This is always going to be the primary source. It does not matter if you don't want to acknowledge it. If you don't want to acknowledge it, don't. You can deny it all you want. That's not going to change the fact that change comes from here. From your thoughts, your emotions, your internal dialogue, the way you soothe yourself, the way you reaffirm in the face of circumstances. So you can deny it all you want and carry on with your life. But if you're looking for real sustainable changes, you need to fix what's on you, my hair, my makeup, my clothes, and not what's being seen in the mirror. I cannot fix myself in the mirror. I cannot fix my clothes and hair in the mirror just because I feel the mirror is not making me look good. This is where I fix things. And that mirror is your 3D reality. You cannot go outside and fix things. You cannot fix things in the 3D reality if the patterns and the cycles and the habits and behaviors behind that is coming from here. This is what needs to be changed so that the outside changes. And understanding this one simple thing is all you need. It's the only bridge between you and your materialized reality. Because 80-90% of the people just want to skip this, and even if they know it in theory, they don't want to really practice it. They just want like surface level changes and do not want to understand the concept of sustainable manifestation and what inner change actually is. They want quick changes. They want results directly outside without doing anything here. And that's when they get changes that just stay in their life for some time. It's going to be hot and cold. It's going to be half-ass changes. Okay, so if that's not what you're looking for, then you need to do this the right way. Physical actions are not really needed. Yes, you can manifest everything, almost everything, without lifting a finger. And without lifting a finger, I mean the circumstance, the opportunity that has to come to you will somehow come to you. After that, of course, what needs to be done in the 3D, as I mentioned, needs to be done. So whatever actions come after that would be followed by the reality that has already materialized for you. Okay? If you want to understand taking action a bit more in detail, I have only one video out of like 400 videos on my channel which is on taking action. So go check out that video and you will understand. I've given a lot of examples in that video that where is action actually necessary and how do you understand if it's just an unhealthy urge or if it's inspired action. So always remember, I need to do less, I need to think better, I need to do less, I need to be more. State of being is the key over here. Check out the playlist, Understanding States. Check out the video, Taking Action, and you'll have a lot more clarity after this video. If you're looking for any kind of products or services or YouTube membership groups for collective coaching, challenges, courses, Instagram, email coaching, anything, personalized recorded videos, you can check out the details in the description box. I will see you guys in the next video. Till then, have a great week.